My name literally means contemplating the world's sounds, Avalokiteshvara, and I made the resolve to become enlightened under a Buddha by the same name. That Buddha taught me to enter meditative absorption through listening, contemplating, and continually practicing. Listening is key. Briefly, listening can begin by you listening to the objects of sound in movement and stillness, which includes a variety of communications, voices, and the sound of silence. Next, listen to that which listens until you are no longer aware that you are listening. When you reach a state of emptiness that is an effervescent oneness with all, continue until even that sense of emptiness ceases. Upon transcending the mundane and the transcendental, you will experience a power of kindness like the Buddhas, and a power of compassion for all beings. This is the best practice I know. 1. Find an uninterrupted period of time, whether 5 minutes or an hour. 2. Find a quiet place that you can hopefully establish as your sacred space for regular practice. 3. Sit down on a cushion or your bed. It helps to have a cushion or pillow below your buttocks. Sit with your legs crossed. 4. Close your eyes partially or completely. 5. Tongue gently touching the roof of your mouth, the soft spot behind your front teeth. Arms circle to meet just below your belly button, right palm on top of left, thumbs touching. 7. Relax and begin listening. First, you're likely to notice sounds around you. As you quiet yourself, you will hear the sound of silence. 8. Listen to the sound of silence on and off the cushion. Listen until you hear the sound of silence throughout your day. 9. When back at the cushion, listen to that which listens. Pose the question, who is listening? Where the mind pauses at the end of that question, that is the entryway into that which listens. 10. Listen to that pause until the pause elongates. Listen until that pause punctuates your day off the cushion. 11. If you've now reached this stage of listening, start listening to your inherent wisdom, courage, and compassion. Here are more elaborations on the earlier steps, particularly number 7 through number 9 or 10. You can try to listen for the sounds around you now. People's voices, TV, music, cars, chirps, breeze. Stop what you are doing. For 3 seconds, still yourself and hear what's around you. Listen for the sound of silence. Turn off any noise in your control at a time when all's mostly quiet, such as early morning or late into the night. Hear the buzz of silence that is always there, behind sounds you typically notice first. Third possibility, listen to your thoughts. Turn your focus inward and listen to the voice or voices of your thoughts. What are you saying to yourself? Listen to someone else attentively. Direct your attention to someone speaking with you. Start with someone dear to you, usually easiest to pay full and loving attention to. Look at your loved one and be fully present for his or her every word. Don't be distracted by other things around you or on your mind if you can help it. Depending on the conversation for at least several minutes, don't speak or prepare yourself to respond immediately. Just nod, smile, or utter naturally. You don't have to do anything except to relax into listening. When you're ready, try listening attentively to a stranger or someone you don't particularly like or dislike. And finally, with practice, try listening this way to someone you dislike. You don't have to listen to anyone face-to-face right away. Try listening to someone on TV, radio, or a program on a device of yours whom you find disagreeable. When you can listen calmly, you may want to call and listen to a relative who always complains. Try that for some time until you are ready to listen to someone who usually upsets you in person. Fifth possibility, who is listening? Listen to that which listens. What in you, about you, is listening? Careful not to become trapped into coming up with an answer. The focus here is the pause at the end of the question, where your thoughts cease briefly while your mind hovers over the question. In that pause is the answer. Listen until the objective of listening is no longer. The subject, the object, and the process all dissipate. In other words, you, sounds, and listening all cease to be noticed. Remember to always return to listening as a meditative practice to hone your skills. Listen to the sound of silence and listen for that which listens until you experience peace, and only peace. No sounds, no silence, no one listening, and no one being listened to. More advanced types of listening, listen in emptiness, a wordless state. Only when you are out of that emptiness will you realize or note to yourself, there it was. And finally, listen to the end of listening, to the end of emptiness, and to the flourishing of abundant blossoming. At the source, you are inherently empathetic and wise with the understanding that one is all are one. You understand that hurting others is to hurt yourself. You understand that helping others is to help yourself, and more. What goes around comes around, for the butterfly effect can occur despite distance or time. Harvey Weinstein's karma, for example, eventually caught up with him. And partisan politics affect adversely the entire U.S., such as the now long-running trillion-dollar budget deficit and recent protests. Don't people realize that when you feel heard, whatever original or fundamental problem that seemed to have existed is half solved, such as a negotiation or conflict resolution? Gentle attentiveness sometimes is all that someone in need needs. Try gifting someone by paying loving attention. Don't think about what you will say or need to say, just be present. After a few minutes, or as the person pauses, ask a question. Offer a comment or a summary stemming from your observation about his or her emotions on a certain topic, such as, your smile light up when talking about your grandchildren. You seem so calm describing your family tragedy. What does it mean when you raise your eyebrows at the sight of so-and-so? Did I see you put your hands over your heart as if to protect it while describing your parents? Listening with heart and gentle kindness usually leads you to a more in-depth conversation. Go with its flow. Enlightening being Avalokiteshvara models the beneficial and beneficent results of listening by naming 32 types of beings that she manifests to transform those of the same kind, which range from the worst to the best among us. She shows how phenomenal capability and compassion are interweaved and directed toward all beings. The lesson demonstrated here is that compassionate enlightening beings manifest in various forms and may be right next to you. Considering others as compassionate enlightening beings may intensify a cycle of kindness. The perspective change regarding any circumstance makes the worst tolerable, even leaving you grateful for the life lesson. The next time you're upset at someone, try envisioning him or her as a secret enlightening being. Of course, use common sense too, and know those who foster hate and crime, such as Hitler, are resolutely beyond the definition of instructively enlightening beings. Through better listening, you relate better to others' experiences, emotions, needs, and wants. Whether verbalized or not, you empathize in a more useful manner with improved communication skills and instincts. For instance, when you were younger, did you really absorb the gravity of someone's plight as well as you do now? More than being sympathetic, it's about knowing people's level of tolerance and helpful ways to react, to speak, and to act. Until you have your own children, for instance, it's likely harder for you to know the depth of parental love for kids in the family and sometimes in extension for all kids. Unless you experience sexual harassment, you may have dismissed a girlfriend's rants or tears over an experience. Perhaps only until millions of women shouted "Me Too" did you come to realize or become ready to acknowledge the pervasiveness of sexual assault by powerful men. Remember to put yourself in others' shoes when you can. Better ability to provide adequate help. That entails material resources, people skills, providence, intellectual capabilities. The meditative listening practice is not just secular communication skills between two or more people. It's about redirecting the usually outwardly focused listening and the external stimulants that are typically the objects of listening. It's about exploring the subject, the listener, and it's about lifting listening onto a spiritual plane that is boundless and profound, or dropping listening into the depths of your being that is profound and boundless. When you reach a psychological, social, spiritual impasse or bottleneck, you're usually short on time and likely want to push forward or give up completely. That's precisely the moment to take a little time to listen to the sound of silence, to the internal voice or higher power. Setting aside the problems for a little while allows you to hear possible creative solutions. Compassionate acts that create good karma loop around to aid you in your listening practice. The key here is not to be attached to the who, what, whom involved in an act of compassion. There are people who donate for reputation, for reciprocity in the future, for a sense of superiority. Instead of an egoistic act, compassion founded on kind intentions, freedom from attachment, and listening so as to relieve pain and spread joy, aid you and those you aid, add a higher octave with amplified frequency. Take a moment to hear your intention and compassionate calling when you are not certain about your next course of action. It may just be a minute where you close your eyes, be still, and hear what's around you, in you.